Welcome back, my favorite gamers and developers. In every game I play, XP is sort of a thing. Sometimes it's like D&D where everyone gets a share of XP, or World of Darkness where everyone gets about the same XP and some players may get one or two more. It could also be like Powered by the Apocalypse games where players get ticks and after 5 or so they select a new ability. Whatever way it is, I'm pretty sure the system will be able to handle it. So what I've added was on the party sheet, I added an XP tab. On the XP tab, it accepts in quests, so I had to adjust quest a little bit. And in quest, you add a name, you add an XP award, and a description. Once you're happy with this, you can drop this into here, or you can just right click and create one right on here. And now I have the quest name, Bob, and it gives 21 XP out to all the players. Once I hit award, you can see over here that it takes the players from 45 to 50 or from 42 to 47. Whatever they were, it takes them up by a split of the 21 experience points. However, let's say that this is a different game where somebody deserves something a little extra. So I'll say special and I will give them, I don't know, 5 XP. If I click the link and I drag it over to, let's say, Dobby the Bobby, and I drop it on him, what this will do is it will give Dobby the extra 5 XP, and it will update the quest name to say special Dobby the Bobby and check it off that he's received the award. The party sheet and the player sheet are linked, so when I change the amounts here, you can see that it changes on the party sheet. I have it locked here because really you shouldn't really be updating the XP except for through this. And probably when I go into production for whatever game it is I'm creating, it'll be locked over here as well, because the player shouldn't adjust the XP. It should all be handled by handing out, entering the quest name, dropping it over here. And also, depending on the game, quest name might not be the proper name for it, so we'll probably adjust that as well. But at least the infrastructure is now in place, and it's really easy to change. So, how'd I do it? Well, Ruleset Wizard is how I did it. Over here, I created under my directory for party sheet or PS, I added in a PSXP. I created it onto its own little folder just to keep it a little bit better organized. The PSGM view is something that I'm working on for later, and this is just an XML, so I can add in the extra tabs. However, this might change later. But on this page, this is the PSXP page. I added in a button for award. I added in a window list for both the quest and for the party information. I just added the data source party information, and this is pretty much all I needed to do to link it up with the order page that's already on the party sheet. I wanted to change this look a little bit, so I added this detail, and all I did was just throw a token in up here. I made this field name, and I made this num party, which matches the character sheet. This itself, I had to add a little bit of code. So on initiative, it does this first, which this is probably a bad name, but oh well, it works. And I grab the node that I'm on. I then go and grab the record to make sure it's a link. And then I link up the name, the token, and the num party. And then I add an add handler. So anytime that it's updated, anytime that the party sheet information gets updated on the character sheet, it also gets updated here. So once the add handler runs, it goes through update and it makes sure that it links up the character node with the party sheet node. And I'm linking up the field num party. That's the name I gave it now. Again, when we get to the actual game itself, it'll probably get a more intuitive name. I also added a on drop. And on drop, what we do is we gather up the nodes, the node for this that we're on right here, and also a quest node. And this is getting the drag data. So when I drag the quest from here over into the person, this is the quest node, and this is the local node. And then I'm gathering and combining the XP. So the XP that's from the quest node, I put it into this local value. The XP that's already on the character, I put it in this value. I add them up, and then I go and I update the numParty field to this new combined amount. I then do the same thing with names. I gather up the player name, I gather up the quest name, and then I combine the quest name with open parentheses, player name, close parenthesis, and I set that back on the field. And then I check off that the XP has been given. So over on this field here, it will check this box. And then I create a message, and that's what displays this information right down here. Dobby the Bobby has earned experience of 44, or has earned experience. 44 goes to 49. So this is the quest detail, and basically this accepts in the new quest fields. It's pretty simple. It just takes the operating system date and plops it into this field, is the only code that I'm really doing on here. And the rest of it is just a link, a number field, a checkbox. And here is the code that I did for award XP. And yes, this goes through a lot. I gather up the XP, I award the XP, and then I send a message. Again, I'm sharing my code, but only if you can open it in the Ruleset Wizard program. So you'll be able to go through this and see how I did it. And then I also added a couple of strings over here, so if anybody likes what I do later in life, they can adjust the language. For the quest sheets, that's stored up in campaign. I'm using the current quest sheets. So for the quest class, how I did this was pretty simple. I just opened up the core RPG, and I found record quest, and I see that they name it window class name is quest. So I use the same thing. And that's all that's here. And then also they have a header and a content frame. So those are the two frames that I have in here. I have my content frame, and I left off header because I didn't really want to change anything with header, and it would just inherit that. So I didn't have to actually make any changes. This little piece for content frame was an anchor that they use, so I just had to throw this in here. And all that is just a custom control that I threw out. I just gave it the name, and it inherits the rest. In that window, in my content window, I have my quest stats. And I added the XP award, and I just added a formatted text field into here. I threw in a button. This was mostly for debugging purposes, so this will be going away later. This really doesn't do anything other than get a node and respond to the chat what that node is. And that pretty much makes up for how I created this party sheet with the quests. I hope you like, and until next time, keep gaming and keep developing.